Our preliminary task, various elements of our post-production has changed. A large part of that is the titles and transitions we used. I learnt that early on the need for seamless transitions distinguishes quality in a film opening, and made a conscious effort to improve this area of our film so that it was a higher standard, whilst making the continuity of the film better. In the prelim, we used simplistic title transitions straight out of Final Cut, such as the one on screen here. To develop from this, not only did we conduct research into external plugins that could be used as a transition,
Using the smooth zoom transition,
but we created our own titles as seen here, and used more complex transitions from the prelim, which were bland and plain. Looking at blur effects from text clips such as this. This made the flow of the film smoother and more seamless, helping us to learn that originally our transitions were of a poor quality and needed changing. Unfortunately, we were not fortunate enough to have an external plugin due to the high resolution requirement of 4K capacity. However, we definitely managed to improve and figure out more effective ways of creating and implementing titles and transitions.
In our preliminary task, our concept was to have a fashion show disaster, which involved Lucy and Chloe fighting over who got to wear the star of the show blazer, where Josh would then decide who the winner was. Due to our light-hearted and comical plot, we decided to make the music that we used parallel to the mood and tone of the task. As you can see here from my preliminary task evaluation blog, we have used a copyrighted song and have not done any research into copyright laws. And if you compare this to our final product, I have done thorough research into copyright laws, as you can see from my blog post here, where I have mentioned about offences with using other people's copyrighted work, such as copying or broadcasting the work in public, for example. And to avoid copyright laws, I did some research into non-copyright music on YouTube, as you can see here from my blog, where I found 2 different YouTube accounts that provided non-copyright music for bloggers, for example. And I've included a few examples on my blog from each account. I then proceeded to choose a song that would be the most suitable for our opening scene, as you can see here from my blog, and I chose the song My Muse by Dropout, as it contains lyrics such as You Belong to Me, and this matches the plot for our opening scene, as the song sounds like the singer is obsessed with the person that they're singing about. So this follows our plot, where Josh, who is the killer, is stalking the victim, who's Lucy, and this shows the obsession that he has with her and makes her sound like his property or object.
Filming in particular really improved from our preliminary task to our final product. In our prelim, we didn't really plan it well, only designing a quick storyboard outlining the plot briefly, and this meant we didn't have an in-depth plan to follow, so didn't get great shots or know the timings for them. However, our storyboard for our final product was a lot more detailed, including 3 pages of in-depth plans for our opening. Although our final storyboard was slightly different to our final product, it helped us immensely in planning what to film, where to film, and how to edit the clips to make it seamless, smooth, and professional. To film the stab scene, we had 3 shots. One of the killer raising his arm with the knife while the victim is screaming, raising her arms, and then he goes in to stab her. One of the knife coming out of the stab wound, and one of the victim with a bloody hand touching the wound and then falling over, or beginning to fall over. All these shots were great and really fitting in our opening, but our storyboard only had a box saying close-up of killer stabbing victim. So we thought quickly, and then this meant that we could show the stab scene in a more creative way using a mixture of shots. Also in our prelim, we had a tilt, but it was very shaky and not smooth at all. However, our tilt in our final film opening was greatly improved. It was done by hand rather than on a tripod, which should be more shaky, but actually allowed us to stop it being jerky and tight with the tripod, and this meant that we could make it smooth and seamless.
So looking back on our preliminary task, I've learned a lot about editing and have become more confident and accurate with it. In our preliminary, our match in action of Lucy walking through the door was not edited very well at all. If there are boundaries, I will try. We have 3 shots of Lucy's foot walking through the door. However, it's jagged and doesn't flow properly. However, in our film opening, we decided to cut the clips more sharply, and we did this by using the zoom tool on the bottom right hand side of Final Cut, and this meant that we could zoom into each individual shot and cut it precisely. In our prelim, we also didn't change any of the lighting, and we left it in the natural lighting that we filmed in. However, when we created our film opening, we decided that we wanted to edit the lighting by making all of the clips darker with more shadowing to make it look creepier and scarier, rather than the setting being light and in the middle of the day. I also edited the lighting of Josh's production company logo by adjusting the saturation of the flame so that it was really vibrant and orange. And the rest of the clip was black and white. This was quite abstract, however I thought it worked really well with our individual production company logo. Our continuity editing wasn't very effective in our preliminary task because we failed to cut the clips precisely. Therefore, there were long pauses before each clip and after. In some of our shots, the camera was really jolty, and we could have edited this by adding a stabilizer, which we did in our film opening to make it look more professional. And that is it. Bye!